Hello there, this is Finn Fournier of Benevolent Saticorum, and I like TrueStream Media, but I'm not going to show the video clip, but here's just a segment of a thing of what they went through about Operation Northwoods. Look up this declassified document as the ultimate proof. There literally was a thing called Operation Northwoods proposed by a Joint Chief of Staffs, which was going to have like all this kind of stuff done, and it's pretty bad what could have been the case. But I don't know who all those characters are. They have but yeah, it's an interesting thing how the idea that the government agencies don't do stuff that's obviously bad, say MK Ultra, which was also declassified, and stuff back even when America pretended to openly be a Christian nation, and now it's not even pretending to be that. So what else could be happening with what kind of experiments do you think are being done? It's not the ones that are absurd sounding that are true. It's going to be more mundane ones, more things that are just evil, but still possible. That kind of deal. But tons of things which sound absurd are going to be the ones that are planted, more than likely, just to muddy the water, while things that sound like it's like the general rule of thumb I'm thinking is the go-to mockery. Anything that's the go-to mockery to dismiss offhand any speculation against powers that be kind of deal, those are the planted absurdities. Like the 5G causes COVID. No one thinks that. That's absurd. That's obviously absurd. That's something that's planted. That's probably the case anyway. But anything that's just meant to allow for everyone to dismiss thoughts that are unlikable would be something that's an obvious lie, just to cloud things and to keep everyone thinking it's patriotic and safe and normal, whatever normal would be. But it's easy to live in a mindset of the world is perfect, the jerks in authority are there for my benefit, they're the public servants, even though that's sort of a mocking of Christ kind of thing. The whole whoever would be chief among you should be their servant. It's not the way like prime ministers and everything else are. Those are just dictators by other names that conflate what they actually are with what they should be. But just because someone's an authority doesn't mean that they're good. God may have given them authority for a purpose, and they may serve their purpose even if it's a Romans 8:28 kind of deal. But even in the Old Testament, most of the kings listed in Kings and Chronicles, they were evil in the sight of God. it's listed outright. They were very few were counted as righteous. Most were counted as evil. You know, they served their purpose, but they still weren't good. They were not good. So you have evil in seats of authority, and the authority you should respect, but it doesn't mean you have to trust them blindly. And look for the clues of what's going on. Open your eyes and see what's real rather than just what you want to be true based on blind patriotism. If a nation is good, then okay, good for patriotism being a thing, but just patriotism for its own sake is like having confidence in confidence alone. But I suppose that's how speculation can seem. And speculation alone isn't proof of anything. It's just trying to think in terms of hypotheticals, because more than likely, all the state and corporate media outlets, all the ministries of truth are going to either hide information they don't want seen or shade it, spin it, however fits their agenda best, whatever it may be. Whether it's covering up crimes for favored oligarchs or otherwise just messing with everyone or presenting false data so people make bad choices, that sort of thing. It's going to be something along those lines. So you may not even see what's actually being hidden or distracted from, but there's always going to be something. There's 8 billion people in the world, or somewhere around there. Probably a fair bit have gone away in the last few years, but who knows? I wouldn't even trust the census at this point. But either way, every person has so many events happen in their lives, most of them similar, and it's funny how the news only counts those in power, really, aside from a few selected highlights from the lives of ordinary people, or any that they want to magnify to serve some narrative purpose at a given time. Yet, it's like, why out of all these human events are they focusing on these, and to the ignorance of which others? And it is a kind of sad thing with, especially germs. Labs run by potentially eugenicists that are fine with reducing everyone. And then you have statements by one of the puppets more recently about how it's a good thing to reduce the population. And it's like, what the heck? And before that, another oligarch saying that, to protect the climate, it's good to reduce the carbon, and population means carbon. Kind of basically, not exactly those words, but it's said almost outright as well, just in a different set of words. But either way, it's like, it's amazing how everyone can just dismiss things offhand and then just blindly associate it with anything to be the most absurd possible. Because I guess it gives them peace of mind to pretend those in power actually care for their best interests rather than just see them as tax cattle to be used and discarded at whim. But, that's the way that, like the Laodiceans, thinking gold made their righteousness, and or Job's friends also similarly thinking that if you're blessed you're righteous, and if you're going through suffering it means you're cursed because you're evil. So Job must be evil because he was cursed, kind of thing at that point, or going through troubles. But in this world we will have troubles. But you still have churches that are pretty much Laodicean in nature, all the prosperity ones that pretty much just worship money, serving mammon, world wealth, rather than God. Either way, there's a ton of things that are bad, and leaders are often bad. And you can have corrupt, mad scientists like Mengele and the one over in Japan back at the time that they actually gave, like an Operation Paperclip thing for. Of course, there's good scientists too, like even with Operation Paperclip, Werner von Braun was actually a fairly good one, about as good as Oskar Schindler was to his workers. But there's nuance in everything. Sometimes the details really do matter, but there's still general trends. But that's the thing, you have to separate the general from the particular, because both are there. There's both the trend and then there's flukes among the particulars. But in this case, we're also talking about the muddying of the waters so as to make trends seem like nothing. And they do that. They plant things that are false that sound clownish because they are clownish. And that's the way you get people to dismiss things offhand, is to just say, oh, you wouldn't think this if you were that, and all that sort of stuff. Or, not exactly the phrase, but you get the picture. It's like just association with the absurd to allow the fallacy of composition to cause thoughtlessness, basically. That's how it goes so far as I see. Anyway, take care everyone and try not to go crazy.